Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's King Havo coming back at you with some new information. I've been working on a new project, and as you can see on the screen here, you probably already know what it is. So, anyways, ever since I saw the Joe Montana news a while back, and the screenshot basically elevated it, I basically, I started thinking, man, this game looks a lot like BackBreaker. And BackBreaker to me was a fun game. You never saw the same animations twice. Yeah, it had some unrealistic animations. Some of the gameplay was suspect, the running game, the passing game. But for the most part, the game had a pretty damn innovative core. And it was fun to play. I mean, it was something that we've never seen before. The camera angle, I think, did them in natural motion, but unfortunately for us, we didn't get to see this game evolve on the consoles, and we kind of are stuck right now with their initial game. So, anyways, long story short. I created the All-Pro Football editor and the ESPN 2K4 editor, and I'm thinking, you know what? Finn has an editor for this game. Let me see what I can figure out, what I can find in the file to see what's missing, see things I can unlock. And, after researching some of the file last week, I really couldn't find too much. Been working with special thanks to Nef1. He's been helping me out with creating a roster, and he's working on some ratings changes and seeing if we can get some good gameplay out of this thing, and get some great gameplay. And I think we're getting there. He's got a pretty good system that I played a couple games, and the game's pretty legit. So, anyways, going back, I did some research, and I really didn't find too much. Finn's editor really only allowed you to do the basics, just the ratings and the names. And the one thing that he didn't have that I wanted to add in were the depth charts. So I did some work, and I'm pretty close to releasing my first version. And I just want to show you guys in this video what it looks like. So let's move on to some just quick screens, and then I'll show you guys a couple of the things I did, and hopefully you like it. Alright, it's loading up. BackBreaker. Got some logos here, screenshot, whatever. And I'm going to go ahead and just bring in my file. Oh, that's not the right file. Let's see. Sorry about that. Let's bring in the file that I want. Here we go. Alright, so when you load it up for the first time, it's going to look a lot like the All-Pro Football editor. You're going to have your team here. This game also has the medals, very similar to to All-Pro Football, so you can see your tiers here, your gold, your silver, and your bronze. And you have your team options. If you right click, you can go to any one of your teams. These basically come up based on the name, very similar to my other editors. If the name's called Bills and you basically call your logo Bills, well, it'll show up here. And there's a place where you can save those images in a folder that will that the game will pull from. So if you see, I have here somewhere in here I have the Bills. I think they're in teams, and let's see. They're somewhere around here. One of these folders right here. So you see Bills. So depending on the name of the team, if you name it Patriots, it'll just show up with the logo on just the editor, not the game. Game's pretty awesome though. You can make whatever logos you guys want. You guys know that probably already, but so there's no problem there. So you can see all your teams here, which is kind of nice, and you can flip. You can go to all the players if you want to see everybody in here. You can also, maximize this if you want to get a sky view. But just going back to let's just say the Bills, because they are my team. You basically have the players here, just like the other editors. You have a few things you can do here. You can change the team's name, the team city, the abbreviation. You could do that in the game as well. One thing that I did kind of unlock, at least for the Xbox 360 version, were the stadiums, to where you could basically pick any of the stadiums that are in the game. There are 3 unlockable stadiums that they came out with. I think it was the BackBreaker Dome, or the BackBreaker Stadium in DC, the New England Dome, and then the Los Angeles Stadium. So those 3 were unlocked prior to getting the Great House number 3 patch. But the problem is that these can't be applied to your team if you go into, let's say, a season mode or road to BackBreaker. The only ones that you can pick from when you're creating your team are the non-lockable ones, like the ones, the main ones that come with the game, and not those 3 I just mentioned. So this editor allows you to pick any of the stadiums, and in addition to those default ones, you can also pick the unlocked ones, which is cool, and you can play with those in your season as well. So I put all the pictures in here so you guys can kind of see what you're dealing with, and so that's included. None of this other stuff works. It's just disabled, and it's there more for eye candy. We'll go into the player editor. So if you double click on the name, I don't know why it's showing EJ Emanuel with a 15. Oh, it's skin tone 15. Okay, sorry about that. I got confused for a second myself. He's number 3. You don't get a height, weight, years pro, or college, so that'll always be empty. He's a gold tier, or what? Is he a bronze tier? No, he's a bronze tier. So you have a bronze star here. And you can adjust the name up to 10 characters, the last name, first name, the tier, the number, the position. Hand is really not really hand. I was trying to do some research, but I couldn't figure out what it was. So you can disregard hand. And skin tone is kind of nice because you can sit here and flip through and see every skin tone. And as you can see, the picture will show you a preview of the different skin tones in the game. So that's something new that we didn't get with Finn's editor. You also have your 4 attributes here, your focus, agility, speed, and strength. And then these 4 here are 4 that are unknown, that basically have values in the game for each player, but I don't really know what they do. And if you mess around with these 4 here, unknowns, you may freeze the game. So just be very careful about that. You can also kind of play around if you really want to get an idea of what these unknowns are doing. You can sit here and sort. And like 115, it's either 78 or 0, right? You see that? 78 or 0. And what I basically, found out was that all the 78s are kick returners. You can see here, and the rest are zeros. So that's one thing. So you can kind of play around if you really want to get deep into it and kind of see what these 4 may do, and see if you can find a pattern or something. So I'm going to leave them out there. And like I said, disregard hand. I'm probably going to pull that one out altogether because that doesn't really have any value. It's all zeros. But the cool thing I did on here, which I like, that we didn't have in Finn's editor, was the ability to do a depth chart. So right now you can kind of see every player lined up from top to bottom, but McNown, just because he's number 1 here, doesn't mean he's going to start, for instance. So what I did is I built a depth chart with this icon here, or you can go to Team Depth Chart or hit Control-D, and it'll actually take you to the depth chart for, in this case, the Buccaneers. And it's kind of cool because you can, number 1, you can look at all your players. Top is the starting position all the way down to 3rd string. For every one of these offensive positions, you have offense, defense, special teams. And you can also, click on any of these and it'll pull up the editor for the player right there without having to go back to the grid behind this window. This screen here is just a placeholder, by the way, this headshot, so every player is going to have it. Just be mindful of that. But the positions and the numbers actually do change as you change them, as you can see up here. And same thing with the positions. If you happen to start changing them around, they'll change with the with the drop down changes. And same thing with this if you want to change that. So it's pretty dynamic, kind of cool. And it'll update the screen based on your changes. But going back to the depth chart, so you can click on any of these guys' names and you can get their editing done right here. But you can also go straight to the see, this is a good example here. So you can see here that Martin over here on the left, Martin, Rainey, and James are lined up top to bottom, and as you can see in the depth chart, it's actually the opposite. It's James is the starter, then Rainey, then Martin. Kind of see that over here versus over here. But what I was going to say is if you click on the actual position, you can move these guys up and down. You can basically change them from top to bottom, starter down to third string, and you can basically change their depth chart. And when you hit save, it will move them around, and you'll see that reflected in the game. So you can do any of these positions, obviously. You want to make this guy, you want to put Kafka to start for some crazy reason, you do that, and boom, he starts. So that's something new that I think you guys who play BackBreaker, could take advantage of for the guys who make rosters. Because the one problem in this game, ever since they changed the patch and they created the patch, they really messed with the custom screen, the custom teams screen in the game. So be careful, because if you go in the game after changing these players, all the ratings are going to get scrambled and the depth charts are going to get messed up as well. So now you can do all of it in here. And before this editor, we would have to go in, remove the patch from the hard drive of your Xbox, and then do your editing of depth charts, and then logos and all that. And then once you were done, then you would put this patch back in, and then you'd change your player names and stuff, and you'd kind of be stuck with the players you picked initially to do your depth chart with. So it makes it much more flexible. You can do this at any time, and it will show up in the game. But yeah, this is the main page that I think added an extra level of control versus the previous editor. And this is all I'm probably going to do for now. If you guys can come up with any ideas, or you think of anything else that we can uncover in the game, I'm always down for that. Maybe even the schedule. If I get a season game save put in here, maybe I can get the schedule to be edited, because that's one thing, now that I'm thinking about it, that always annoyed me, was the schedule. When you go to do a season, the schedule would always put teams like back to back. Like you'd play like the Jets like two or three times in a row, and it's like, why would you do that? Why wouldn't you scramble it a little bit more cleanly so you don't play the same team twice back to back? So that's one thing I'm probably going to look at, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, to see what we could do there. But just wanted to show you guys, you also have the global editor where you can edit any of these attributes, even the unknowns, by position, by team. You can also do it by player. If you want to pick a few players, you can just pick the players that you have highlighted here and have at it. And it works very similar to my previous editors. And I really pulled it from Finn's design because I thought it worked really well, the way you can move the ratings up and down. So anyways, guys, I hope you guys liked the video. There's going to be more to come. Nef1's making some 2015 rosters that I'm going to be helping him out with, at least testing them. And I'd love to hear some comments for you guys who still play BackBreaker, and any ideas you guys may have. Hit me up, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.